The Five Nights at Freddy's story is full of vengeance, torment, agony, and so many other similar subjects. But this event may be the biggest and most important point in the entire timeline so far, unraveling in front of our eyes as William sneaks into Freddy's and begins walking towards the animatronics. Don't forget to simply scroll down, subscribe, turn on notifications, like the video, scroll back up, and enjoy as William starts to head towards what has become of his creations with only one goal in his unstable mind. The souls of the children were freed from their eternal cage. William knew something was wrong with the robots from the start. He knew the children were still in there. Now free of their prison, the children were angry, staring at the one who took their lives away prematurely. They headed towards William in anger, and he ran to something that would hopefully scare the vengeful spirits away. William laughed inside of the spring bunny suit as the spirits stared at him, remembering their final day.
What? Are you scared of the funny bunny?
William queried the spirits, who all looked up to the roof. The room they were in was unfinished and only meant for some employees, mainly just Henry, and the room was also off any cameras so no one could see what was happening inside of them. The whole area was built poorly and there wasn't much inside of it, but thanks to the heat of the room, the frozen condensation dripped from the roof slowly, maybe a drop of water per 2 seconds. This wouldn't be a problem if William didn't forget the basic rules of a springlock suit. Springlocks and water can't coexist. The springlock suit malfunctioned and sprung into its usual position, and William fell within his creation with blood piling all around him. He pleaded the spirits for help, begging for his life to be spared, but the spirits went away, out of William's sight. On this day, Henry stepped into the building, hearing the shouts of an old friend. He ran to see what happened, only to see William inside the spring bunny suit, blood covering it whole.
William? Please?
Upon hearing he was there, Henry thought he would die thanks to blood loss, so he walked out the room with that thought and slammed it shut. He considered that maybe karma had finally come for William.
Please!
Over time, Henry covered the entrance to the safe rooms until there was no possible way to get inside or even know the room was there. But unfortunately, the damage done to the animatronic was too much for Henry to fix quickly, and not just putting them back together will help. People were complaining about the foul smells coming from the animatronics as their suits haven't been fully opened for years. William meddling with their suits caused a lot of bad press for the franchise. William dying, the animatronics broken, everyone he knew being dead. If it wasn't too much for Henry before, it's too much now. It began to overwhelm Henry and he was struggling to keep this franchise alive. So, in the year of 1993, Henry shut Freddy's for the final time, not planning to ever open another location in the franchise. But there was one thing Henry couldn't forget and push aside so easily: his daughter. He had this feeling that his daughter was somehow inside the puppet. He had no idea how or why she would be, but he feels Charlie inside of it, and it's the only one that he couldn't find when destroying the toy animatronics. At the time he thought maybe someone stole it, which since he was going to destroy it anyways, it wouldn't be a big deal, but maybe Charlie pushed the puppet away or something like that. He didn't know. He sounded insane, even to himself. But he wouldn't let the chance slip past, so he created a new animatronic he'd called LEFTY, which stood for Lure, Encapsulate, Fuse, Transport, and Extract. That looked like a black version of Toy Freddy, but was created for a completely different purpose: capturing and finding the puppet and possibly destroying it to free Charlie's soul. William going missing wasn't too much of a surprise to Michael, as his father always goes missing throughout the night or during the day. But as time passed and the weeks went by, Michael began to realize his father's absence was getting progressively longer and longer. He goes to Henry to ask if he knows where William has gone to, which Henry denies and tells Michael to look at the other locations his father works at. So, Michael travelled to the only other location opened at the time that his father owns: Circus Babies, Entertainment and Rentals. Going down the elevator, Michael thinks of everything that's happened. He blamed himself daily for the loss of his younger brother Evan, never forgiving himself no matter what his mother said to him during the nights of tears and breakdowns. Obviously, he knew Elizabeth had died, but he was never once told how. He couldn't ask his mother after the divorce and William's advice to stay away from her. He knew William knew how Elizabeth died, but he never mentioned that to him, nor asked William how it happened. But maybe now, after his father's disappearance, Michael can find him and finally ask what happened to her and get some sort of closure. The doors of the elevator opened suddenly, and Michael went towards the primary control module. This is when he realized something. Michael lost enough already. He would do anything to find his father, even if it meant he was mistaken for a late night technician. Hiding under a desk, hiding from animatronics, hunting in the dark, and fixing broken animatronics, with some much needed advice of course, was an insane thing to do. Michael was about to give up on this location on the third night, until... Michael was afraid inside the scooping room. He was stuck inside a springlock suit, the same type he watched his brother get brutally murdered inside of. He almost fainted until he was given the reminder not to activate the spring locks. Circus Baby goes on to tell Michael what the room really is about, a machine called the Scooper. But before Baby can begin explaining, 2 technicians went inside the room.
Okay, bring her over. Forward. More. Okay, stop. Set her down. Watch the step.
What happened to it this time? Just seems like these things can't go a day without breaking down.
Who knows? It's always the same, man. Some kind of hardware malfunction.
Well, hey, I'll be somewhere in 15 minutes, and this place gives me the creeps. Can we just get this over with?
It's all automated. We don't have to be here for it. Just get her on the rollers and we can go.
The loud sounds of something coming towards Michael was all he could hear. He eventually saw what it was. It was Ballora. Baby explains that
there's something very important that I've learned how to do over time. How to pretend. Ballora never learns. But I do. They think there is something wrong on the inside.
Ballora gets opened up by the scooper hitting her. Each hit, Michael became more and more hopeless for his own survival, but he also felt something. As if he felt the pain of the animatronic. As if he was watching someone he knew being killed directly in front of him. Eventually, the animatronic's torture stopped, and Baby explained that she'd opened the faceplate so they could find him on the cameras. Michael no longer heard Baby's voice and waited for quite a while until he was found and rescued from the suit. Michael knew Baby kept him there because she wanted him to see the animatronic be destroyed. But why? That's all he thought about on the way home. And knowing William isn't down there, he didn't plan to return the next day. Michael sat and watched his favourite show, The Immortal and the Restless, which he would usually watch every single night after coming home. Besides, last night.
Clara, I tell you, I paid my taxes, Clara.
So why are the IRS
Clara.
here? They've come
Clara,
to take the
I
child.
swear.
Michael thought about how out of all the animatronics he come across, only 2 stood out. Baby and Ballora, who were the only 2 who didn't seem to have pre-recorded voice lines at all, unlike Funtime Freddy's birthday lines. Michael knew he was onto something, so he called his mother for the first time in ages. She didn't pick up.
Hi, I'm sorry I couldn't pick up your call today.
Let me in the house. Please, let me in the house. It's me, William.
Anyways, call me back tomorrow maybe, and I'll hopefully be able to respond.
Wait, what? Why was William there visiting her? Why did he feel a connection to Ballora, who reminded him of his mother, who used to sing countless bedtime lullabies, and a similar connection to Baby, who reminded him of his sister, who never shut up, but always wanted Michael to know anything and everything? Michael thought and thought more and more until the realization hit, and he prepared to return underground the next day. Today, Michael would have to fix Circus Baby. He entered the primary control module only to see the 2 technicians hanging. This was horrific to Michael, but after seeing his brother die in front of his eyes, it wasn't the worst. He's told by Baby to destroy her body by sending it to the scooping room and is then instructed to go and find and enter the room himself. He enters the room and sees all the Funtime animatronics destroyed.
Warning, you've entered a highly dangerous area. You have entered from Maintenance Hatch 1B, reserved for cleaning and repair of the scooper. Entering this side of the room is strictly prohibited by unauthorized personnel.
And a new animatronic, Ennard, appear. Ennard was formed by all the Funtime animatronics who destroyed themselves and mixed together to make one amalgamation. They formed into one because they were trying to escape and get out of the underground, and their plan was better explained here with their speech.
You are in the scooping room now. Funtime Foxy has already been here today. Funtime Freddy has already been here today. Ballora has already been here today. Circus Baby has already been here today. I've been out before, but they always put me back. They always put us back inside. There's nowhere for us to hide here. There is nowhere to go. when we look like this. But if we looked like you, then we could hide. If we looked like you, then we would have somewhere to go. The scooper only hurts for a moment.
The animatronic put itself inside of Michael's corpse. This was how they would escape, looking like a human would work. So they went ahead and left the building. They saw sunlight for the first time in ages and began walking around the neighborhood, but the body being dead wasn't a good thing. It slowly started to decompose. Body laid on the floor numb with Ennard escaping into the sewers until Michael heard the voice of Circus Baby, who he now realized must be his sister Elizabeth, trying to save him by chanting, "You won't die."
You won't die, you won't die, you won't die, you won't die. You won't die, you won't die, you won't die, you won't die. You won't die.
He didn't die. His body rose up, and no matter what it took, Michael was ready to find William and finish him for good. The body of Ennard had continued to roam under the sewers, waiting for a moment to escape without being seen, and therefore instantly destroyed. But there was a problem within Ennard. More so, a problem within the Funtime group. Baby was basically the leader of it all, being basically controlling and almost commanding their every move. The other animatronics, Ballora, Funtime Freddy, and Funtime Foxy, were annoyed of Baby's controlling manner and decided to kick her out. Baby couldn't do anything against a 1v3, so she was ejected out of Ennard immediately. But Baby vowed to the others that she'd put herself back together and become more than Ennard ever will be. After kicking Baby out, Ennard never fixed its wires to be in a clean manner, so they stayed sporadic, and over time it collected small parts until it could remake a mask based off Funtime Freddy and create its own fingers, eventually becoming Molten Freddy. This left Circus Baby to go on a hunt to end up rebuilding herself to turn into Scrap Baby. William was in the room, thinking about all that's happened. Had it been 1 day, 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month? He had no idea. For all he knew, he could be in this room slowly rotting away for the rest of his life, and he would never be able to tell when a single day went by. He couldn't do anything about it but think isolated and alone in the now hidden safe room, feeling the pain of the spring locks and suffering on the inside and out. This section of his life would be the part of his existence where he suffered the most, trapped within his own creation that started it all, facing his own consequences and being stripped of what he'd taken himself. For once in his life, he would finally feel guilt and a large amount of regret in his dying heart. But this was a highly populated building, where, to his knowledge, people were still working at. Maybe he would see the light of day very, very soon. Michael had been living in the shadows for these 30 years, searching for his father to kill him and finish him for killing his mother and sister. Unknowingly, the speech Michael would give to the stars make him true sooner than he thought.
Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. But something is wrong with me. I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in shadows. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. I'm going to come find you.
In the year 2023, a new location opens up based on the myths and rumors of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria and Fredbear's Family Diner, filled with items from the locations which gained the title of a horror attraction. This location was called Fazbear Frights. This would be a location that would have gone completely fine, but while looking for old artifacts in the abandoned locations, Phone Dude comes across two things.
Hey man, okay, I have some awesome news for you. First of all, we found some vintage audio training cassettes. Dude, these are like prehistoric. I think they were like training tapes for like other employees or something like that. So I thought we could like have them playing like over the speakers as people walk through the attraction. Dude, that makes us feel legit, man. But I have an even better surprise for you. And you're not gonna believe this. We found one. A real one. Gotta go, man. Well look, it's in there somewhere. I'm sure you'll see it. Okay, I'll leave you with some of this great audio that I found. Talk to you later,
Soon
man.
enough, they would unleash a horror locked away 30 years ago. Thank you so much for watching part 3. Make sure to like the video and subscribe with notifications on to be notified when the final 2 parts come out and this story eventually becomes completely unraveled. Remember, if you want to break from the intensity of this story, please check out some of my other videos on this channel, which you will definitely enjoy. But either way, have a lovely day, and I'll see you all soon. And thank you guys so much for the support recently on the channel. We're heading towards 5K, and I appreciate it so much. You guys are the best.